What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today we're going to talk about this $600 rebate, this stimulus rebate. And I was watching Fox Business a couple of days ago, and they were talking about the pros and the cons. And so I'm going to show you guys this clip. This is really interesting because it's unique. You have President Trump saying that he thinks that people should be able to receive this refund, this rebate. And this is not going to be popular among fiscal conservatives. And so you have on Fox Business some fiscally conservative hosts. And so they're trying to tap dance around this. They don't want to really say it's bad, but they also don't want to say that this is something that we should be moving forward with. So I want to show you this clip. It's really, really interesting. So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, if you guys watch this video to the end and you think that it was good, please like the video and also consider subscribing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you this. We'll talk a little bit as we watch it. Here we go.
We have so much money coming in. We're thinking about a little rebate, but the big thing we want to do is pay down debt. We're thinking about a rebate because we have so much money coming in from tariff that's a little rebate for people of a certain income level might be very nice.
You heard of the Doge dividend. Well, how about a tariff tip? President Trump says America's tariff revenue windfall could show up directly in Americans' bank accounts. He is leaving the door open for rebate checks after customs revenue hit record highs in June. I think we've pulled in $100 billion so far this year.
That's right.
300 is projected by the end of the year. But critics say America needs to put all this money towards its massive debt pile, still sitting around $36 trillion. And for me, I'm a little bit mixed on this one. I think we've given out enough stimulus and, the money's been taken from people already, so to credit it back, and he said for certain people of a certain income level, I think that's questionable because people of other income levels have paid into this too. The Doge dividend is coming out to roughly $1,200 a person with respect to what they've been able to bring in. They're doing the baby savings bonds, or accounts, which I understand because the birth rate is dropping. It's like, how much of this can you do? We've got a debt problem. Instead of whipping Jerome Powell and saying you got to take 300 basis points off the Fed funds rate, let's pay down some of our debt with this extra savings.
I can't tell you if
Now, and this is interesting what she's saying here because she's still talking about this Doge dividend check, which you don't hear anybody talking about anymore. The $5,000 that was supposed to go out to every household or tax-paying households. You don't hear him talking about that anymore. The target was they were going to be able to save $2 trillion. And so basically shave off $2 trillion in spending, and then they would take that money and they would provide these dividend checks. You don't hear that anymore. I haven't heard a politician talk about a dividend check in several months. So that's pretty much gone away. They could have put it in this big, beautiful bill if they really wanted to move forward with something like that, but they didn't. And the main reason they didn't is because they realized that they're not going to be able to save as much money as they thought they would be. $2 trillion went down to $1 trillion, then $1 trillion went down to, maybe 150 billion, maybe 200 billion, but that's it. So right now they're at that between 200 billion and 150 billion, and you have Elon Musk he's not even heading up Doge anymore. We don't know who's in charge right now. And so are they really going to be able to save this money? And that was the argument for dividend checks. But it's interesting that she's bringing that up now because the reality is that's not going to happen. And so then she was talking about the baby investment, more money going out there. But you could see she's already saying the way that she feels is we don't need any more. We don't need any more stimulus to go out to the American people.
fan of Powell or not?
No, I don't like him, but I mean, I'm just saying.
Just observing the facts of what's happening right
Right.
now. Well, it says above my head, it says tariff surplus. And but we don't really, we're getting tariff revenue, but we definitely don't have a surplus.
No, I know.
Like if we've got a surplus, I am all for getting money back to Americans. I'm all for cutting taxes, even when we have a deficit, and then holding the government accountable to cut their spending. But we don't have a surplus. Whatever tariff revenue we're getting is not, it's not even coming close to covering the interest we pay on our debt. So, but I do have.
Yeah, and that's interesting what he's saying there. Interest on our debt. Our interest on our debt right now it's close to $1 trillion. That's what we're paying, just the interest. That's not even paying down the national debt, which is what, $36 trillion. And so we have a huge problem here. And we're looking at this rebate, and they're saying, okay, well, we're bringing in money through tariffs. And the way that the money is coming in when it comes to tariffs, the companies in the U.S. that are looking overseas to buy products, they are paying the tariff. So it's the company in the U.S. is paying the tariff. So the tax is on us, basically. And then those companies in the U.S., they pass that cost on to the consumer. So ultimately, all consumers are going to be paying a little bit more for products. I won't even say a little bit more. In some areas, they might be paying a lot more for products. And so you're paying the tax, that tariff, and now they're saying, well, we'll give you a rebate. Okay, that's the way that it works. But I would agree with them. We don't have a surplus. And so if you're looking at this, and you heard President Trump in the beginning there talking about the fact that, well, yeah, we're getting so much money in tariffs, we're going to go ahead and distribute that out to the American people, but we're still going to pay down the debt. And when it comes down to it, you don't have extra money. It's like if you're working and let's say you have a strict budget and you're trying to save money, and you're able to get a little bit more money from somewhere, but it's temporary, but you're able to get a little bit more money. You're probably not going to take that money and go buy something else. You're probably going to say, you know what? I have a little bit more money. I wasn't expecting this. Let me pay down the debt that I have.
Said that. One thing about the president I do get on this is he wants people to understand that the things he's doing do have real world positive consequences for them. Now you can
Okay, now this is the tap dancing that I'm talking about. This is the, trying to make it look good. But the reality is tariffs are going to cause prices to go up. And the only reason that they're talking about this rebate is because they know that. They know prices are going to be more expensive. And so they're going to try to offset some of those prices with a rebate. I talked about this in a video in the past. You don't issue out rebates unless you're paying for something. So if I go into a store and I buy a TV and that TV is $1,000 and they say, okay, we're going to offer you a rebate, it'll be an instant rebate. So that instant rebate could be $300. So now instead of paying $1,000, I'm only paying $700. That's how rebates work. So if you pay for something, that's when you're going to get a rebate. And so if you're trying to make the argument that, well, tariffs are not, the American people are not going to, suffer as a result of tariffs, this rebate is showing you that, yes, you're going to have to pay something. You're going to be paying more. That's why you're going to get this rebate.
You can argue about tariffs if you want to. So that's why he wants to do this stuff. And in politics and in life, there is something about tangibly helping people see that they're getting a benefit from a policy so that they support it and don't go to the other side, which we've got plenty of, which is promising free rent, free groceries, free buses, all this stuff. He's playing I think a smart political game, even if I'm disagreeing with the fact that we should have a rebate.
It's consistent with his strategy too, because think about, he's arguing we can outgrow our debt problem, right? How do you help that along this way? Show Americans tangibly, look, this came back in. And guess where that money is going to go? We saw it during COVID. It's going to go into the economy in different ways.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about, because and
that in itself could be a problem, because that means it's inflationary is basically what he's saying. It's going to go back into the economy. People are going to spend that money, and that money will cause prices to go up even higher.
Projections show the deficit's going to balloon by $3.4 trillion over the next 10 years. Some estimates are lower than that when you factor in the growth that will come as a result of the Trump economy and the engine all working together. But having said that, there was a lot in the bill that many people didn't support. There was spending in the bill that was difficult to pull the reins back in on because, once it's out there, it's out there. And so should we be using the tariff revenue or the DOGE savings to then cut some of those numbers down? Yeah,
so those CBO estimates are wildly inaccurate, right? If there's a new one out from Torsten Slok saying that if you factor in AI, it's actually going to be less of a deficit spending. So AI is deflationary. But here's my thing. Every mainstream American knows every single politician has wasted money sometime in their career without your permission. Is $1,200 really going to make a difference? Every American getting that qualifies really going to make a difference on
I guess that's what I'm also questioning.
I think this is more marketing and fulfilling just your promises of, hey, I'm going to do these things. And to Brian's point, I'm going to show you tangible proof that I did them and they had a positive outcome. And then let's move forward. Because this single check is not going to change Washington's penchant for runaway spending.
Call me crazy, but wouldn't that be inflationary between the tax cuts, basically another stimulus kind of check, and the baby savings accounts, all this money that's going out and consumption out there? That says to me,
Yeah, anytime you give people more money, they're going to spend it. And if they spend it, in theory, that's inflationary. Yes, I agree. The problem is I'm not sure that people can tangibly appreciate, understand, grasp, whatever the right expression is, that, yes, we've taken this money from these other countries or companies in other countries. And
okay, now I got to stop there. What he is saying is absolutely not correct. We are not taking money from companies in other countries. The money is coming from us, the American consumer, as well as the companies in the U.S. that are paying more to have these products shipped to them. That's how it's initiated. Okay, when we're talking about tariffs, it's simple. If a product comes to the U.S., there's going to be a tariff on that product. If the company in the U.S. wants to purchase that product so they can sell it in the U.S., they're going to have to pay that tariff, whatever it is, 10%, 15%, 25%, whatever it is. They're going to have to pay that. The company in a foreign country, they're not paying the tariff at all. And so the U.S. company is taxed with this tariff. They pay more, and then they pass it on to the consumer. Now, we have this person on Fox Business right now is not telling you the truth. That is not how it works. That is the only reason they're talking about a rebate right now. They're talking about this rebate because they know that the companies in the U.S. are going to have to pay the tariff, and they are ultimately going to pass that on to the American consumer. And the consumer, we're going to see that prices are starting to increase, and we're going to think, why are prices increasing? Oh, don't worry. You know, you had to pay for this tariff, but we're going to give you a rebate as a result of paying for this tariff. That's what they're trying to do with this rebate. But when you have people on shows like this telling you something that is not true, and this has been debunked. I mean, you have experts out there right now that are saying no. So I just wanted to clear that up. So let's go. Let's hear the rest of what he has to say.
we're using it to pay down the debt, really? I mean, the debt is up here.
I know.
And what we're collecting is
But you have
down
to
here.
start somewhere.
I mean, so, what have you really accomplished? Not much. And you might actually get more mileage out of handing people a check than trying to explain the economics of, well, we did pay down a little bit of
We held off on the Italian beehives on top
What do you
of the
think,
Fed.
Lydia?
You might be right.
And that, I would actually agree with the last part that he said. Yes, when it comes down to it, they're not going to be bringing down our debt that much. And when we're looking at the fact that you just passed a big, beautiful bill that's going to add, it could add between $3.5 to $4 trillion over a 10-year span, they could use this to say, look, we're collecting in tariffs, we're going to give you a little bit, but we're not really going to be able to pay down the debt that much. And now that we have this big, beautiful bill, we probably won't be paying down the debt at all. It'll probably increase even higher, even after all this tariff talk.
And you all are probably right. But there is part of me that says, whatever happened about teaching young folks about delayed gratification and responsibility? And is this a missed opportunity to illustrate, we did these tariffs and we're collecting money. Now we're going to do the responsible thing by paying down this massive $36 trillion debt. I look at that and I worry about my kids, and this is an opportunity to start really living by the practice what we preach. We're going to do the responsible thing. We're going to pay down the debt. Yeah, it's the hard thing to do, but in the long term, we're going to do it again and again and again until we get this country back on the right course. Am I being a little naive here?
It's like, can you save on your Starbucks latte to make yourself a millionaire? Probably not. There's other things we can do.
People don't do it, but you could take that money and invest it, and you would be better off.
Okay, so that was an interesting exchange on Fox Business, and that last part she was talking about there, delayed gratification. I agree with her, but when it comes to delayed gratification, politicians don't get elected on delayed gratification. What do you hear all politicians say? President Trump said this. Day one, I'm going to do this. Day one, I'm going to do this. The reason why they're saying that is because they want to show that something is happening. Because if you wait, let's say you're in this situation where tariffs, you have to wait for the economy to respond to tariffs and all this, and you don't put out these rebates, but people see prices increasing in the midterm election, you're going to have a lot of politicians that voted for tariffs or voted for the big, beautiful bill and all this. They're going to lose their jobs. And so there is no delayed gratification. We don't get that anymore. And you can see it in social media. what have we gone to now? I mean, everybody's watching the news now on YouTube, or they're watching the news on Instagram and TikTok and all these other platforms, and they're getting just short little bits of information because we don't want to wait. We don't want to watch an hour-long program on the news. And so because of that, politicians, they want to keep things moving. They want to say, okay, yeah, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that. And they don't really care about the debt as a whole, whether you be a Republican or a Democrat. We just saw that example of a spending bill that just passed by Republicans. And some of these same Republicans, even the speaker, was saying, look, we have a spending problem. And then you have the opportunity to control that spending problem, and you spend even more. So we see that. We see that happening. So I want to know what you guys think. So let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.